go. Okay, that was the hell got me past my bedtime and everything. The hell. Rhonda and Gina, let's go. Okay, that was the hell got me past my bedtime and everything. The hell.
Pascal, you are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up weekdays, catch us live somebody, let's go.
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. And good evening. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in great spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Yeah, it's Sunday. Wow. Why does it feel like, I don't know. I don't know what day it feels like. It for damn sure does not feel like a mother-loving Sunday. I will say that, okay? But we are here. We got a lot to talk about in a very short amount of time to get into it. So we're going to have to get into this conversation real quick. There's a lot of different things. We're going into multiple realms today. We are Lord of the Rings in it, like I've been saying with you guys for a minute now, okay? We got things going on in Africa. We got a movie I just saw, which I want to recommend to y'all. We got D4vd info and then some. So we got multiple realms we're going to go into. Lots of conversations to have, many miles to go before we sleep. And it's a Sunday. So do me a favor, okay? Before we get into everything, all right, hit that like button down below. Crush it, do it, do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, make sure you hit that follow button on those platforms. Also subscribe here on my YouTube channel, this main one right here. Then go over and click and hit that subscribe button on my second channel over on YouTube as well. It's called The Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe over there as well. That'd be greatly appreciated. Like I said, there's a lot to talk about and many things to do very quickly, so we're gonna get straight into it. So make sure that notification bell is set to all, so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because honestly it is random. Hit that join button down below. Consider becoming part of the family by hitting that join button down below, okay? There's that membership. You can go and check that out. If you want to enjoy yourself by supporting even further by checking out my Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/The Pascal Show. It's in the slow ticker going across the bottom of the screen right there, just in case you forget. All right. And of course, if you want to support it even further, go check out pascalmerch.com. Pascalmerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. pascalmerch.com. Okay. Anyway, let us get into the conversation, okay? Because there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on in the world right now, and there's a lot that we should be concerned about. I'm going to be real. We should definitely be very concerned about what's going on overseas. At first, we were worried about this hantavirus, right? And now we got to be worried about this mother-loving stuff. There's an outbreak going on in the country of Africa. Okay. Yes, no, you didn't, what is it? Watch the rains down in Africa. Okay. We are now seeing the Ebola outbreak down in Africa. Like, this is not good. Okay. This is not good, y'all. Okay. Not good. If it's not one virus, it's another. While we're looking over here about, looking at mice, Fievel and little, Stuart Little, you know what I'm saying? I call him Little Stuart. All right. Little Stu, okay. Little Stu. We're worried about Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse's skanky ass. Okay. We got the Ebola virus going on in mother-loving Africa. Crazy. Crazy. So yeah, we shouldn't be worried about rodents so much. We should worry about our own bodily fluids, because apparently this gets contracted through bodily fluid, like saliva, semen, blood, vomit, right? Yeah, I had to make it sound very, nice, vomit, right? But nonetheless, this is some weird, crazy stuff. So we got to get into this, but real quick, I got to get this. Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? Rook, man. Thank you so much for being a member for over 32 months. Damn. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you. Okay. It's been a pleasure to have you as a member and part of the family. I appreciate you, fam. Real talk. I appreciate you, fam. All right. But yeah, vomit. I have to say it in a nice, in a nice way, because vomit just sounds gross. Everything. I mean, we talk about other bodily fluid. It never sounds, it doesn't sound classy. So you gotta add a little bit of je ne sais quoi to it. You see what I'm saying? We global up in this conversation. We international when we talk about things on this platform. Okay, not only just the Ebola virus. We're talking about the languages and stuff. We go French, we go Spanish, maybe a little Italian. You know what I mean? Just saying that out loud. So moving on, we got something that's really going on here. Over 300 people have been infected. 88 people have lost their lives already. And the number is continuing to grow. So let's take a look at this. What we know about the latest Ebola outbreak after the WHO, World Health Organization, declares this to be an international threat. They're saying a global health emergency. This is not a joke. So the World Health Organization on Sunday declared an Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda a public health emergency of international concern. Now, here's the thing. They could just basically be saying that to be saying, hey, keep your heads on a swivel because there's a lot of people that have been sick. I've heard the upwards of 88 deaths. This, according to CNN World, they're saying that at least 80 suspected deaths and no approved vaccine has been made. Fears are mounting over how effectively the outbreak can be contained. So this is something that we should all be worried about. So what the hell's the Ebola? Okay, so this doggone bug is a severe and often fatal disease that is spread through direct contact with bodily fluids of an infected person, according to the Africa's CDC. All right. So it can also be spread through contact with contaminated materials or a person who has actually passed away from that actual disease. Symptoms often include fever, fatigue, muscle pain, headache, and sore throat, followed by vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal pain, among others. Internal and external bleeding can occur later as the disease progresses. There are 6 known virus species linked to Ebola, but only 3 cause most large outbreaks. And these 3 are the Ebola virus, the Sudan virus, and the Bundibugyo virus. Okay. The latter of which is behind the current epidemic, according to the World Health Organization. So how many people have tested positive? In the DRC's current outbreak, there have been at least 80 suspected deaths, 8 laboratory confirmed cases, and 246 suspected cases reported as of Saturday in the country's remote northeastern Ituri province on the border with Uganda. This is what the UN health body said. So on Saturday, another laboratory confirmed case was reported in the DRC's capital of where did that go? Kinshasa, okay, which the WHO said was linked to the Ituri outbreak. Meanwhile, in Uganda, 2 laboratory-confirmed cases, including 1 death, have so far been reported in the country's capital of Kampala. This is what the WHO has reported. The 2 cases had no apparent link to each other, but the individuals had traveled from the DRC. So, both people were admitted to intensive care units in the city. So, how deadly is this actual disease? Let's find out, shall we? Ebola fatality rates have varied in the past outbreaks from 25% to 90%. This is what the World Health Organization has said. 25% to 90 mother-loving%. The average death rate is about 50%. Oh, dear God. This is no bueno, and this is also going on over the dumb seas in Africa. Okay? The fatality rate involving the Bundibugyo strain is estimated to be between 25% and 40%, according to medical care organization Doctors Without Borders and the MSF, which is preparing to scale up its response in Ituri province. The number of cases and deaths we are seeing in such a short time frame, combined with the spread across several health zones and now across the border, is extremely concerning. This is, of course, what they talked about. This emergency program manager said to CNN World. In Ituri, many people already struggle to access healthcare and live with ongoing insecurity, making rapid action critical to prevent the outbreak from escalating further. So last year, 45 people died in the DRC after an Ebola outbreak in a remote region of Kansai province, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Is there an actual cure? Is there an actual cure? Is there an actual cure? There are currently no approved treatments or vaccines specific to the Bundibugyo virus, according to health experts. So in other words, yeah, that's not good. Now, it seems like in the past, there have been smaller outbreaks, but this one's pretty massive. Over 300 people, 300 people being contracting this virus, 88 people dying from this virus. So this is a very, very serious situation that we're looking at here. This is much greater, if you ask me, much greater than what we've been seeing with the hantavirus situation. The one that's on the mouse bug. Okay, we had a little outbreak on a boat, right, on a ship during an expedition. Now we got 300 plus people sick, contracting this virus. And of course, much greater amounts of people have lost their lives to this actual bug. 88 plus people have lost their lives to this situation. So this is bad, y'all. And there's no vaccine, none, no cure for this situation. Let's go over to BBC and see what they got to say about all this.
Now, the World Health Organization has declared an Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of the Congo a public health emergency of international concern. Nearly 90 deaths have been recorded so far, and medical experts say that the current strain of the virus has a particularly high mortality rate. Well, the country's health minister said that there is currently no vaccine or specific treatment available. Dr. Samuel Roger Kamba says many of those who died didn't seek professional medical care and instead sought help from places of worship. Almost 2,300 people died in Congo between 2018 and 2020, and WHO says this current outbreak does not meet the criteria of a pandemic. Well, we can speak to BBC Africa's correspondent Thomas Mukwana now, who joins us from Nairobi. Thomas, good to have you with us. Talk to us firstly about what we're seeing in terms of spread, the risk of further spread, because of course in some remote areas you have informal borders, perhaps, where people cross almost daily.
Yeah, that's correct. And this is particularly troubling because the eastern DRC province of Ituri, where both the three towns that have these high infection rates come from, that region is really, really close to the border with South Sudan and Uganda. And as you know, DRC is a very resource-rich country, which means a lot of mining happens mostly in the eastern side of the country where this outbreak has happened. So a lot of mining activities, which would then translate to a lot of trade and cross-border mining activities and people trading and people trying to get to even places like Nairobi would sometimes informally cross those borders before getting to Kampala and traveling over here. The worst thing about this is that as the WHO has now just declared this an emergency of international concern, is that 2 cases have been reported in Kampala over the past 2 days. One being someone who passed on after contracting the virus in DRC Congo and traveling all the way to Kampala, Uganda, before passing away in a hospital. His body has apparently been, according to reports, transported back to DRC. But even that body, as it is a dead man, could transmit the virus to whoever touches it. And this is a whole other level of virality that I think the WHO and the Africa CDC are concerned about.
So, Thomas,
you realize how insane that is? You realize how insane that is, that, you know, even in death, the people can actually get sick from this situation, from this. I think that's absolutely insane, if you ask me, and absolutely terrifying. But once again, I mean, this is what we deal with. This is what we're seeing and dealing with. And like I said, it's not like, you know, they pass away and the virus just perishes or, you know, goes away with them. That's not the case. You know what I mean? That's not the case in this situation. So again, this is so strange and very scary because you don't know if you a hypochondriac and you helping move around these people, you're probably thinking you're sick every day. Let's keep it real. You're probably thinking you're sick every single day. You know what I mean? So this is scary. This is really scary. And I'm praying for the people of Uganda and the people of the Congo, because this could be, and then that's the other thing too, because this could spread. This can go. It's highly contagious. You're getting it from, you know, bodily fluids. Again, like this is just crazy. And if you're handling this, you know, like the amount of procedure that you would have to do, precaution that you would have to do before, during, and after handling somebody who is alive and sick with this, or someone who has been dead and you're moving that body. I mean, this is crazy. This is just scary.
When it comes to infection control, are there any measures in place at those borders, for example, whether that is checking temperature and so on, to try and get a handle on this and stop further spread?
One would expect that because these countries are very connected. East Africa is a very interconnected region. Every country can get to the other on a bus. It's really hard to tell how these countries are responding to this, because all these countries are now facing a health crisis in the midst of budget cuts because of USAID cutting funding. But WHO yesterday said that it had dispatched a good team of health experts in those regions to try and contain this virus. WHO specifically dispatched health workers with around $500,000 worth of funding, emergency funding, to respond to this. It's hard to tell, but all these countries, again, are very interconnected. One would expect that there should be measures to curb the spread of this virus, maybe temperature checks, which are routine in these borders at a time like this. But I highly suspect that these countries are trying to now spring into action to make sure that screening is effective against the virus.
The BBC's Thomas Mukwana, very good to talk to you. Thank you.
Again, guys, I mean, this is a very, 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 very serious thing. And of course, you know, it's not a huge concern for us in America because people aren't, suddenly just coming out of nowhere being sick with the Ebola virus. You know what I mean? But it is now of public health. It is turned into a public health emergency. It is of international concern. You see what I'm saying? So this is a very, very serious situation. And of course, we got to keep tabs on this, keep our eyes open and keep watch on this, because it could very well get over here. It can spread throughout Africa. It could go into other parts of Europe, etc. So again, we need to really keep our eyes open on that. And that is just a really scary situation to see. You see what I'm saying? We ain't got time for that. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got time for all this craziness. And we already have the fear of the hantavirus already taking over so many things right now. And now we got this ish. You see what I'm saying? It's like, if it's not one thing, it's something else. So while we're looking at Mickey Mouse and Ratatouille, we should be looking at ourselves now too. Just human fluids, like secretions and stuff. That's crazy. That's scary. So hopefully they're able to stop this and contain this before it spreads even further. But again, like I said, this is the largest they've had in a while as far as an outbreak of the actual Ebola virus. So I hope it doesn't get any worse. I really hope it doesn't get any worse. Now, here's the thing. Dolphin, I wanted to say happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. They just said that they were celebrating their birthday. So I'm very, very happy you are turning whatever age you are turning. Happiest of birthdays to you. Okay. Hopefully it is a wonderful one for you. All right. I didn't want to miss that. All right. I didn't want to miss out on letting you know it is your birthday. Okay. Happiest of birthdays. So anyway, let us continue though. All right. Now, here's the thing. We got a couple things. Okay. So number one, you're a girl. I'm a girl, Pascal. Okay. I'm sorry. I said she, and then I was like, wait a second. I don't want to be rude. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. There's a lot of names in here. Some people are male, but they're using their wives', accounts. You see what I'm saying? So anyway, hopefully everybody is okay over there. Hopefully the Ebola virus gets contained and all that. Now, here's the thing. First and foremost, pin to the bottom of the chat. I don't like how they now have the pinned things pinned in the chat, like at the bottom of the chat. I prefer it up. I prefer it up at the top of the chat, but that's just me. Okay. Now, here's the thing. All right. I did a skit, another one. Like I said, I'd be doing more skits. I'm bringing in more skits into the show. I told you guys I'd be bringing it in. So I did another skit. It's very, very short and sweet. Maybe it's funny, maybe it's not. I don't know. But go check it out when you get a chance. It's very, very short. All right. It's 15 seconds. I think it's 14 seconds. 14 seconds out of your day. All right. So check it out if you can. That'd be greatly appreciated. Like I said, more of those kinds of skits are going to be coming out. Share the skits. Please share the skits. Please. All right. More skits are coming, more content coming. So share. That would be amazing. Because the more they come out, the more they get shared, the more views they get, the more I'll do them, the more often I'll do them. So please and thank you. All right. Yeah. The D4vd one. Yeah. More of that's coming. More of that's going is going to be coming out. Trust and believe they will. Now, here's the thing. I do want to share with y'all this though. Okay. And I don't normally, and this is, like I said, we're going to be going into a lot of realms today. Okay, we're going to get into the D4vd thing here in just a second, but I do need to talk to you guys about this. Okay, there's a movie I just saw over this weekend. I think, I saw it Friday night. Okay, and it just came out, and I have to recommend it. If you're a fan of horror, if you're a fan of thriller, thrillers, not Thriller, Thriller, of course everybody's a fan of Thriller. But if you're a fan of thrillers, you definitely, talking about The Sandlot. What? Dylan, no. No, I'm not talking about I'm not talking about no damn Sandlot. Let me just say it, man. Dylan just ruined it, man. Dylan just ruined this whole thing. The movie's called Obsession. Okay? Damn it, Dylan. Damn, son. Anyway, Sandlot. The movie just came out, son. Dylan. Anyway, this movie, okay? It's Dylan. I see this. I don't know. Dylan. Okay? Because he spit hot fire. Dylan. Now, here's the thing, Dylan. Damn it. Here's the thing. This movie was freaking tastic. I'm not one to be out here recommending movies. You know what I'm saying? I don't do that very often, but I love me some good movies. And I have got to say Sandlot. Shut up, Dylan. Okay? But here's the thing. All right? This movie was fantastic. This movie was very, very good and creepy as hell. It broke me. It really broke me. Real talk. It really broke me. This movie. Okay. So if you don't know about this movie, and what's crazy about this is I recommended another movie way in like 2 years ago, I think, of this other movie that this guy actually directed. The director of this movie directed a YouTube movie or YouTube video that went super viral, right? Called Milk and Cereal. And I just want you to I just want you to know, okay, that the guy who directed that movie made this one, and it's so freaking good. This movie literally broke me. I felt so. It is just, you just need to see it for yourself. I'm not going to give you any spoilers, but it's literally about this guy, this basically like this hopeless romantic guy who is hopelessly in love with this girl, and he just wants to get this girl, right? So he stumbles into this store where there's this kind of like this little device called a one-wish willow. So he goes up and he gets the little thing, and then he makes a wish that this girl will love him more than anything in the world. And then it just goes down in it just spirals out of control so fast. It is insane. Okay. I highly, highly recommend you guys watching this movie. It was so damn good. It takes I will say this, okay? It takes a minute to rev up. But as soon as that car's on, you were holding on for dear life. In fact, there was a moment when I was watching the movie where I was like, I kind of wanted it to end. And I don't mean by damn, it's so long. Like when are we going to get to the stuff? No. It was more like it was just so creepy and so cringy to watch. And you're just, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? When you're watching something and you're like, you really, you know what I mean? It almost felt like you feel bad. You're getting triggered. Maybe some PTSD of like toxic relationships you've had in the past, that kind of thing. You're like, oh my damn. You know what I'm saying? It was like that. Okay. Yeah, I was in it, and it definitely kept me absolutely at the edge of my seat. Me personally. Okay. No, this is in the theaters. So you got to go into the theaters. This is not on Netflix. This is in the theaters. But like I said, this is a movie that you're like, oh, this is just so many cringy things that happen. And it's so freaking creepy. And then it's so heartbreaking at the same time that, like I said, it literally broke me, this movie. It broke me. It is so messed up. Highly recommend seeing this. 5 out of 5 stars. If I was one of those, Siskel and Ebert 2 thumbs up, yeah, I'd give it the 2 thumbs up. It was so damn good. And then here's the other thing too. The acting was absolutely unbelievable. Like the girl, the love interest, right? Her acting was phenomenal. And the main character, that guy right there, that main character dude, I think his name is Bear in the movie. The acting is just so damn good. So yeah, I'm not one to gush about movies very often, because a lot of times you see movies and it's like, it was I, it was cool, it was I, you know what I mean? This one, I was like, holy cow, this is very good, and it stays with you. It's a movie that will like literally stay with you. You're thinking about things after. So again, definitely watch it if you get a chance, or when it goes, give it 2 weeks. It's going to be on Amazon Prime or someplace where you can buy it online. You know what I mean? Here soon enough. But when it does get out, or if you get an opportunity to plop your booty in a theater seat to watch this in the theaters, I highly recommend it. I highly recommend it. So, just saying that out loud. Definitely check out that movie, Have Mercy. That movie. Oh, and that's the other thing too. It was really funny too. That's the thing too. Like it was really funny. So, awkward. Like I said, it's just an emotional roller coaster ride that you're on the entire time. And like I said, it just, and the ending is out of this world. So check it out. It's creepy. It's cringy. You want it to end, but you can't stop watching this train wreck, And obviously you can't because the movie's just going to continue going. You already paid a crap ton of money to see the movie in the first place, but you get what I'm saying. Okay. Yeah. Check it out. Really damn good movie. Really damn good movie. And that's the other thing too. It's nice to finally see some movies that are original content, like not another like superhero movie, no one's cosplaying on, you know what I mean? Like it's an actual, just really good story, unique and shocking, heartbreaking, and entertaining as hell. So it's nice to see movies come back in a way, It was like this is the same feeling I had for Sinners, Like Sinners was like, okay, original content. Yes. We need more of this. Let's stop with these comic book IPs. It's about time we're watching something that's fire. Thank you. And so this one, damn good movie. Check it out. All right. But somebody asked, I saw the super chat, but it disappeared. Messi asked me if I had seen Michael. Let me tell you, I did see Michael. Notice I didn't do a review or talk about that movie because it was It was just And what's interesting, okay, like Webster said, Webster just said, Michael, the movie, it was very good, fam. Hey, movie is good, okay? I'm not saying that it wasn't. The performance of Jafar playing Michael Jackson, wow. It literally felt like it was Michael Jackson on the screen. One thing that I thought was dope too is that it kind of like gave a resurgence, a reminder of Michael Jackson's music. I don't know if you've noticed, like, have you opened up your TikToks or your Instagram and just seen people just dancing to Thriller or doing his moves, you know what I mean? Like bringing his music back again, you know what I mean? Which I really do appreciate because I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan too. Huge Michael Jackson fan. But I'm gonna say this, okay? I'm gonna say this because I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan. One thing I wish I saw in the movie is the creative process. Like the behind the scenes to the whole album Thriller or Off the Wall. The creative process of how he made these gigantic, massive pop culture altering music. You see what I'm saying? But one thing is for sure, it reminded you that there's a reason why he's the GOAT. That's the reason why he was the king of pop, which I do appreciate. And I also think that this is going to be the first biopic where there's going to be a sequel. Yeah, because that's the other thing too. They kind of flash forward through his entire childhood into, into him going solo in this movie. And if you've seen like the TV made for TV movie, the Jackson 5, American Dream, all that, right? You already know the story of Joe Jackson and Joseph Jackson and his relationship with the kids and how he was just a violent mother lover with his kids and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So you already know that story. But at the same time, it's kind of like you kind of wish that they would not flash forward through a bunch of stuff. They just kind of speed through stuff. And it's like, damn, can we see the tension? Can we see why there's such such tension? I already said it, but why there's such a tug of war between Michael and Joseph? I'd like to see more of that. You see what I'm saying? So there's a certain things where they're just kind of like, let's just get straight to the point. Let's go. And I'm like, damn, we could have stayed in this moment. Just stay in this pocket for a little bit so we can understand a little bit more, right? And you know how these movies are whenever they're doing like a biopic of an Elton John or a Freddie Mercury or something like that. They want to get to the hits. You want to get straight to the hits. You want to get to Beat It. You want to get the Thriller. You know what I mean? Don't stop till you get enough. You want to get all those songs before you even talk about the plot and the story that you're trying to build. So that is something that really frustrates me, right? And then, where was Janet? You ain't not seen not one Janet in that movie. LaToya was in there for like three, not even 3 seconds, maybe half a second. She was in there for a millisecond, but it was all about Michael. And I'm like, okay, but his best friend growing up, Janet Jackson, not even in there. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So like I said, there was just so many, and I get it. I get it also that he is a massive talent and he has a catalog of music and such a huge, illustrious, massive career. But I'm like, man, can we get a little bit more? Just a tiny bit more? Here's the other thing too. We find out, because, if you watch the movie, it ends kind of abruptly. There was a whole third act of the movie that they cut out because of some legal issues. I guess they were going to talk about the allegations and these lawsuits and whatnot in the movie. They had to go and do some reshoots and cut out the entire third act of the movie. Now, if they knew that that was going to be happening, then a part of me feels like they could have expanded more within the first and second act of the movie. So it feels a little bit more robust. It feels a little bit bigger. Here's the other thing too. If you realize that you're turning it into a two-piece, like a two-part movie, it's going to have a sequel, then add a little bit more filler in the first movie, damn it. Let the Michael Jackson fans get to really know him and his creative process and all that, right? We didn't get that. We just see the ending and he's dancing to Bad, which, by the way, holy crap, Jafar, whoa, crazy good. Crazy. I'm like, damn, Michael Jackson was the GOAT. He was the man, right? But it's like, that's it. Literally, I'm watching the movie. Oh, I'm like, I'm bad. I'm like, yeah. And then it ends, and I'm like, what? Word? Wait. That's it? We done? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. There's allegedly going to be a sequel to Michael. But if they knew that they were going to be doing a sequel so that we could see the Bad era, his album Bad era, we hear, Remember the Times and you know, the other songs. Shoot, his relationship with Elvis Presley's daughter. What's her name? Priscilla? No, that's not. What's her name? You know who I'm talking about. He married her for like 3 seconds, right? His obsession with Elizabeth Taylor. His relationship with Diana Ross, right? Is Dirty Diana really about Diana Ross? Lisa Marie Presley, thank you. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's things that I'm like, yo, can we talk about these things? Can we really talk? You know what I'm saying? Was he getting it in? Was he bashing any of these girls? You know what I mean? Like, was he out here? You know, or was he asexual as they claimed that he was? Where's all that? And so I'm hoping that they explain at least that latter part of his life and talk about that. They did talk about his addiction to painkillers. They kind of hinted on that, but I'm like, I just need more. I need more. And yes, the kids, the allegations of him, you know, doing things at Neverland and all that, all those things. I'm like, yo, I need just a tiny bit more. If you can give me a little bit more, that would be greatly, greatly appreciated. That's just me, though. That's just me. I think his performance, I think, you know, Jafar Jackson's performance is phenomenal. He killed that part. He killed that ish. Phenomenal. But outside of that, I'm like, I need to see more. Personally, I just want to see more with that movie. But if you want to just kind of relive the dope music that he made, Hamburger.
Like Robert Baker.
Hamburger, you are definitely going to really enjoy the movie for that. You see what I'm saying? But if you're looking for more of a deep dive into this very enigmatic, I can't even say the word, you know, very mysterious, enigmatic person that was Michael Jackson, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get a deep dive into who Michael Jackson was when the doors were closed, when the music wasn't playing, when he's just chilling. You're not going to see that. You see what I'm saying? So again, hopefully they do something more in the sequel, but this will be the first time that they do a sequel to a biopic. I've never seen. Most of the time they did. You know what I'm saying? Except for like the Elton John movie. You feel me? Most of the time they die, you know? You know, you're watching a John Denver movie biopic. There ain't a sequel. He dies on the plane. You see what I'm saying? Rocky Mountain High, and then he gone. He died. He dead. They can't do a sequel. Him dead. You see what I'm saying? But they stopped right before, like, he continued to become a household name. White kids walking in the suburbs dressed like Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a whole other level. Whole other level, man. You know? With his his button-up jean shirt tied up in a bow with the white shirt underneath. Come on now. And the white socks and the loafers. Yeah, I mean, come on now. Come on now. Isn't that crazy? You walked around in loafers and tube socks. Like, real talk. You know what I'm saying? And people are like, he's so bad. Have you heard the songs? Your bud is mine. Like, huh? Like I said, as soon as I got done with that movie, I was like, woo, I forgot how fire he is, right? And then I went and I was like, man, I need to relive the songs. So I'm just blasting them in the car, you know, driving around, you know, running errands. And I'm like, what? You know what I mean? And then in these music videos, you know, like these guys, I'm bad. You know what I mean? And you got all these guys, and they're doing like Fosse moves and, you know, the shuffle ball changes and stuff. You know what I mean? Like the legs out and everything. And you're like, what is going on? What? This is bad? You know what I mean? Only thing is that they're just wearing a whole lot of leather. But they still doing the, you know what I'm saying? Fosse, you know? Fuertes and stuff, being like, I'm bad. You know what I mean? It's just weird. It's weird. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Tube socks, loafers. Oh, man. But he was the GOAT. Okay? He was the GOAT. I'm sorry. Okay. Like nowadays, you couldn't do that. I don't see Chris Brown running around. You know what I mean? Talk about, I'm going to beat it up. Because that's pretty much every song he does lately. Wearing tube socks and loafers. MJ was the only mother lover that could be bad rocking tube socks and loafers. I ain't never seen not nobody else be able to rock that. And people go, yeah, oh yeah, you bad. You bad. Nobody. There's only one man. And that is Michael. Crazy, right? We don't have that anymore. We don't. Okay, I'm done ranting about Michael Jackson. But the movie is decent. Go and enjoy it if you want to. But if you really want to watch a movie that's going to jack you up, go check out Obsession. Definitely go check it out. Man, is that a messed up movie. Now, here's the thing. We got to get into some stuff because there's a lot of conversation that's been popping off lately about D4vd and this Celeste Rivas case. And there's a possibility that D4vd could actually go and take the stand. But prosecution ain't nothing to play with when it comes to this upcoming trial. If he doesn't sit there and realize that the evidence against him is stacked so high that he might as well take a plea deal. I'm predicting that. That's what I'm feeling in my bones, but I could be absolutely wrong. We'll see what happens. But nonetheless, D4vd, this guy, he's got quite the competition to look at. So Jesse Weber on Long Crime, his show Sidebar, he talked about the prosecution. It's pretty crazy. So we're going to take a listen to some of this. I'm going to speed it up a little bit because, you know, we got things to do. We got a lot to talk about. You feel me? But this is absolutely crazy. Let's take a listen.
Said all about all the evidence in this case, or the supposed evidence. But what I want to do right now is focus on the lead prosecutor in this case, Beth Silverman, Deputy District Attorney for LA County, a career homicide prosecutor. According to the LA Times that cited LA Mag back in 2022, at one point she was nicknamed Sniper for not having lost a murder case. She's the recipient of the Centurion Award for...
Let me just say this. When you have a lawyer getting a nickname called Sniper, oh, you should be shivering in your booties. I'm just going to say it. Ain't no way. Like you know what I mean? Like you got a lawyer that has a nickname. Okay, good luck to D4vd.
Excellence in cold case investigations with technical support. I mean, did you know that she successfully prosecuted Samuel Little, widely regarded by the FBI as the most prolific serial killer in United States history, the guy who admitted to killing over 90 women over a 35-year period? That was a trial, by the way, that was filled with surviving victims and pathologists and scientists and criminal investigators and others. And
Hold on. What's this guy's name? Hold on. What's this guy's name? Hold on.
He prosecuted Samuel Little, widely regarded by the FBI as the most prolific serial killer in United States history. The guy.
What, you want to know something's crazy? Jayoma would say that there's no way he did this because he's black. Just saying. Moving on.
Guy who admitted to killing over 90 women over a 35-year period. That was a trial, by the way, that was filled with surviving victims and pathologists and scientists and criminal investigators and others. And she was able to secure convictions on 3 counts of first-degree murder against him. So this is just a sample of the cases that she's handled, what we're going to get into. And you're going to get a sense of her style. You're going to get a sense of what evidence she has presented in the past, what cases she's handled in the past. And you'll see correlations between the current charges, the current allegations facing David, and what she's done in the past. But I'll tell you what.
Hold on. Let me just tell you a little bit about this Samuel Little guy. Okay. So Samuel Little, I guess he's dead now. Okay. Was an American serial killer confirmed by the FBI as the most prolific in U.S. history, with 60 confirmed murders out of 93 confessions between 1970 to 2005. He would asphyxiate his victims across 19 states, often targeting marginalized women whose demise were initially uninvestigated. So in other words, he's a little Gilgo Baggins, you know, the Gilgo Beach serial killer. I call him Gilgo Baggins. So you got that. You got Rex Heuermann with, you know, he would go and get S workers, right? And he would just take the lives of these S workers. It's crazy. So, okay, yeah, of course, he was convicted. He was serving multiple life sentences, and he died at 80 years old. So this piece of trash, the Samuel Little, is someone who, did some very, 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 very disgusting, deplorable, and disturbing things. But let's continue. And that particular prosecutor took him out.
Even before we go into her past cases, her history, we actually saw her in court in the David case. So after defense attorney Blair Burke, who's representing David, and we did a whole episode about her and the defense strategy. We did that yesterday. You can check it out on Long Crime's YouTube channel. After she made the argument that, look, we haven't been given any discovery in this case so far. The prosecution hasn't turned things over to us. There's no evidentiary materials. We don't have the autopsy report. This was a hearing right after his arrest, by the way. I want you to listen to Beth Silverman, again, the prosecutor. Listen to her respond.
Your Honor, as I indicated to counsel, there's approximately 40 terabytes of discovery in this case. Moreover, in order to obtain the transcripts from a grand jury investigation, counsel has to file a motion. She knows the way the system works. I'm not able to gather those. They have to be provided after the court orders them released because it was an investigation. Second of all, if counsel plans on going to a preliminary hearing within the 10 days, it is unlikely that there will be very much discovery provided within that period, given the voluminous nature and how long it's going to take to copy onto drives. In addition to that, the coroner's report was sealed in this case in order to prevent it from hampering truthful testimony from witnesses that testified at the grand jury. So an order will also have to be obtained in order to get the coroner's department, which is now the medical examiner's department, to release those materials.
Your Honor, it's surprising news given that the District Attorney's Office held a press conference this morning where they discussed the cause of death, apparently under seal and not released by the coroner's office, as did the robbery homicide unit to the press. So we would again reiterate, we believe that Mr. Burke is entitled to discovery. We have served the people with notice. They have 15 days to produce discovery in this case. We would ask that they do that in conscientious earnestness and as quickly as possible.
I ask the court to make an order today. We'll take a copy of the minute order ordering the Department of Medical Examiner to release their coroner's report in this case.
So that's her actually speaking in connection with this case. But there's also what she represents in the court filings, right? Because in any of the episodes that we've been doing on this case in the past like 2 weeks, we talked so much about this pretrial prosecution brief that was filed, and we cite so much to it. And this is a pretrial brief that was filed by Beth Silverman. And by the way, you can check out the full brief on our case files in the Long Crime Plus app. It's all up there. We're starting a David whole page on that. When you read this, it lays out the potential evidence against David, and you get a sense of what this case is like, how it's structured, maybe get a sense of how she's going to argue it. So surveillance footage, cellular data, text messages, DNA analysis, online purchase history, witness testimony, law enforcement reports. So this is going to be a very expansive case stemming from Celeste's life in Lake Elsinore all the way until the discovery of her body in that Tesla in September of 2025. By the way, talking about Beth Silverman, this was a little caveat before we get into more footage of her. Did you know that she was involved in one of the strangest, wildest stories out in Los Angeles? So there was this murder of a 16-year-old Martha Puebla, and authorities ended up arresting 24-year-old Juan Catalan, and he claimed he didn't do it. And his alibi was, I was at a Dodgers game with my young daughter. That was the alibi. Now, how did he prove it? Well, apparently, Curb Your Enthusiasm was filming that day at the stadium. You know, the HBO comedy show from Larry David? So his lawyer calls up HBO, gets the footage, and Juan is right there. The timestamps showed 9:10 p.m., an hour before the shooting. The cell phone record showed that Juan was near the stadium at the time of the shooting. So after spending months in jail on a false charge, he was released. I will tell you, where does Beth Silverman come into this? She was prosecuting this case. And she wasn't initially convinced at first by the tickets. And according to Snopes, not even the footage convinced her. So this was, by the way, all featured in a Netflix documentary called Long Shot. But you kind of get a sense of how tenacious she reportedly can be. But I want to go now back to some cases, and I have footage of Beth Silverman in action. So we'll revisit some of her past cases, past work, and this will give you hopefully a sense of what we can expect with David. I want to start with her work on a very famous trial. Did a whole prime on it. Monica Cementelli. So this was the woman convicted of first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder in connection with the 2017 killing of her hairstylist husband, Fabio. Oh, and similar to David, she was found guilty of first-degree murder with special circumstance allegations of financial gain and lying in wait. Those are the two same special circumstances allegations in the David case, that he allegedly lured Celeste out, that it was premeditated, that he allegedly killed her to prevent her from exposing him about their purported illegal sexual relationship, she being a minor. So, in other words, Silverman has experience not only murder cases, but has experience with those particular sets of special circumstances allegations. And the reason those are important because you can get a higher penalty, life in prison without the possibility of parole, or even the death penalty. Monica was sentenced last year to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Oh, by the way, she wasn't alone. Her lover, Robert Baker, pleaded no contest to murder and conspiracy to commit murder charges, has kind of the same effect as pleading guilty, and was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. So the prosecution here, as we're talking about Beth Silverman in this case, argued that on January 23rd, 2017, Baker fatally stabbed Fabio as he sat on his backyard patio in Woodland Hills and then fled the scene in Cementelli's Porsche, which was later found abandoned. You go back to Silverman, and we have footage of her during Monica's trial. When the prosecution began its opening statement, again, Deputy District Attorney Beth Silverman warned the jury that her comments wouldn't be brief. And she was right. Her opening statement ended up taking days. Now, I'm not saying that's what we're going to see in the David case, but two complex cases. And she basically eviscerated Monica during her presentation.
So this leads us to the issue of motive. And as you heard during jury selection, motive is not an element we have to prove, but it's a big issue in this case. Financial gain as a special circumstance is one of the motives in this case. So she and Baker decided that Fabio was getting in the way of their future plans to be together, for her to become Mrs. Baker. If she divorced Fabio, she was going to lose her social standing and many, if not all, of her friends. Her family would never forgive her, and they would never accept somebody like Robert Baker, who, as I said, was nothing like Fabio. But if her beloved husband was murdered, people would feel sorry for her. She would be a victim. And therefore, they might forgive and accept what they would think were just poor decisions by somebody who was a sad, grieving widow. And the defendant realized that the only way to maintain a reputation as Fabio's devoted wife and a mother to their children without the risk of turning everyone against her was to become a victim. The only way to get rid of Fabio and shed her old life without losing the lifestyle to which she was accustomed and shed her old life without losing. So instead of being seen as the self-centered, ungrateful liar and cheat, everyone would feel sorry for her, because she would become Fabio's devastated widow who lost the love of her life.
That gives you a sense of the storytelling, right? Building that narrative, which is what we expect to see here from the complex investigation into Celeste's death.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna say this. Yeah, I was just about to say that, Primo. Okay. The four of it is cooked. It's over. I mean, like, you know, like, I get it, like, innocent until proven guilty in a court of law and all that. I get that. Okay. And he has a right to be out here and fight his case, fight his side of things. But he's walking into a losing battle. I hate to say it like that. I hate to be that guy. I hate to be the bearer of bad news for him. In fact, no, I love being the bearer of bad news for him. Let's be real. Okay. He's a monster. But honestly, he's really screwed. You got a dog. She is this woman, the way that Jesse Weber is painting this out about this prosecutor, she's like a rabid dog. She latches on and she will not let go. She's going to do whatever she can to make sure that this man is buried under that prison. This is not looking good for him at all. None of this is looking good for D4vd. His team needs to have a sit down with him and just get down to brass tacks and basically say, listen, there's too much that the prosecution has against you. Sure, there are defense lawyers like Jayoma and others. There are others out here that still believe that D4vd was framed. Real talk, there are people out here that truly think that he was framed, which is insane. But there are people out here that actually believe that. But I'm telling you right now, with the evidence, with what they have already ready, there is nothing so far that could exonerate this little man. Because he is little. He is little in height, in stature. There's just nothing. Unless there's some, like I said, smoking gun evidence where it's like, yeah, he was on the other side of the country when she lost her life. In fact, we got footage of Larry David walking by him right now as we speak, so on and so forth. You know what I mean? Like, he would have to have some serious smoking gun evidence to prove without a shadow of a doubt that he did not do this. But so far, nothing of that sort has been presented. Now, of course, we haven't gone into trial or anything yet, but like I said, and of course, those things will most likely be exposed by defense during the trial. But so far, from what we've heard and what we've known, as far as the court of public opinion stacking up this storyline and learning about this case bit by bit over the past 7 months, there has been nothing to be like, oh, well, he was in Tokyo during that time. That's the reason such and such. Could it be possible that he flew from Tokyo to do this thing and then flew back to Tokyo? You see what I'm saying? There's nothing like that. Nothing. There's there's a possibility type of situation with this. None. So he might as well take the plea deal because this woman is a dog. Okay? She is a rabid dog. She ain't going to let go. Trust and believe.
Celebrity, minor, alleged cruel murder, cover-up, dismemberment, a lot of components there. Now, I also just want you to take a quick listen to the closing arguments that are made by Silverman at the end of the trial, and then I'm going to show you how she cross-examines a witness. But first, closing argument.
It's a case about greed. It's a case about lust.
Hold on. I also want to point this out. I think this is absolutely insane that we got Sidebar doing a breakdown on the prosecution. Like, I imagine if D4vd is watching Long Crime in his cell. You see what I'm saying? They're like, we're going to do a full breakdown on the players of this trial. Welcome and enter prosecutor. I don't remember her name, but man, is she a beast. She will hold on to you until you scream uncle. Sorry, not sorry. They're literally doing that. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. Hey, take a look at this girl. She is going to make your nightmares come true. Just so you know, D4vd, what to get prepared for. Here she comes. Wild.
And during the trial, I looked up the definition of betrayal. And the judge is going to instruct you that you can't do that. You can't look things up when you go back into your deliberation. So I did it for you. And I wanted to see what the dictionaries defined betrayal as. And this is some of the adjectives, the synonyms that I came up with. Deception, disloyalty, treachery, duplicity, devious, cheat, trickery, fraud, cunning, breach of trust, false-hearted, underhanded, unfaithful. Each of those words perfectly describe this defendant. This defendant who was the mastermind behind her own adoring husband's gruesome murder. This was an obsessive, all-consuming love affair where these individuals, these two depraved people, the defendant and Robert Baker, believed they had found their soulmates in each other. And you know what? I think they did. They wanted to be together. They planned a future together. And that included traveling, as you heard, and living together. The problem was that in order to get that future, to live that life that they so desperately wanted, they had to get rid of Fabio. And I don't care what the defense gets up and says. Divorce wasn't going to get them what they wanted. And that's why you were provided with that evidence, because it does provide motive. It provides motive for what happened in this case to Fabio Sementili. And that is one critical piece of evidence. No matter how you want to downplay it, or cover it up, or try to conceal it, the fact that she lured him into thinking that their marriage was solid and then had him murdered in his favorite place shows how evil this crime was. If it really was a burglary, could have robbed the house, could have burglarized the home, taken property and left. They never had to see Fabio out on the back patio. They could have taken things from that bedroom and then fled out that sliding door that was left slightly ajar or unlocked to sort of stage that as an entry point. Remember that? The only reason you would go out onto the patio, and again, all common sense, is if you wanted to target this victim. And as I said, this was clearly a targeted hit. It was very personal. They went out onto that patio to kill him. He had no enemies. So again, who do you start looking at?
So a few things there, right? Going after the defense's are.
Yikes. 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 I mean, and this is just a sprinkling of an example of how passionate this prosecutor is, Beth Silverman. This is about to be really, really bad for David. But here's the thing. I'm here for it. Oh, it's going to be phenomenal. I really hope to sweet baby Jesus that we get cameras in that room. I really do. But yeah, we need to see that. Okay? We need to see that. She about to woo! You know what I mean? She about to hurt. She about to put some legal hurting on this man. And D4vd is done. But we already know he's done. You see what I'm saying? We already know that this man is done. Like I don't understand. Like I said, there's no fighting chance that this man has. None. So I'd be very, very shocked if he comes in with something that brings reasonable doubt into the conversation. I just don't see that. Not in this trial. There's too much. You know, it's like the Brian Walsh, like Anna Walsh, who was, murdered by her husband. Brian Walsh, that dumbass, because he was looking things up, how to dismember a body. How long does it take till, how long does it take for a body to, decay? Stuff like that, right? It's like that is just a level of idiocy. You know what I mean? That's just a level of dumb where you're like, thank you so much for painting out and drawing out and leaving all of these breadcrumbs, showing us how you did it. Same thing with David. D4vd is an idiot. Thank God he's an idiot. It's just unfortunate that we lost Celeste in that revelation, in that shocking piece of information, which is he's a dumbass, right? But he's a dumbass because he left massive breadcrumbs behind. Massive breadcrumbs behind. And she gonna lay it all out. And she gonna say it in plain English for those jurors to fully understand exactly what this monster did. I'm gonna play a little bit more, but we got a few more other things we got to talk about. So we're still in the D4vd realm, but there's some other D4vd conversation that we need to have. Let's continue, though.
Arguments, countering other possible explanations, other narratives, trying to fight back against any scent of reasonable doubt, telling a story for the jury to follow. But I also want you to see how she cross-examines key witnesses. And to give you a sense of that, gotta say, who better to show you than when she questioned Robert Baker himself? And by the way, the context here is she was questioning him, and he seemed to struggle to explain why he had provided multiple versions of this story of the murder, including statements in a 7-page letter that he gave to Monica after he agreed to plead no contest to the murder. Take a look.
You have repeatedly changed your story in this case to fit the evidence, correct?
Officially, no.
There's only, I don't know what, when you say officially, I don't know what that means. I'm just asking you. You have repeatedly changed your story to fit the evidence in this case, correct?
Are you asking me or are you telling me what to say?
Your Honor?
I will. On an official statement, I've been honest with you. On everything else is nothing.
What in your mind is official versus
When I swore in.
So if you were to have a conversation with defense counsel where they're asking you to tell the truth and you lie to them, you would consider that to be unofficial?
True.
So it's okay that they asked you to tell the truth and that you repeatedly lied to them?
I did lie to them.
Over and over and over and over again, right?
Some ports here, some ports no.
Did you think at all about the trauma that you would inflict for a lifetime on these two young girls and losing their father in their home in such a horrific manner? Did that ever cross your mind?
No, to make this easy for you, no.
Because you didn't really care about them, right?
I cared about them.
You cared a lot about them.
I cared about them.
You cared about them so much that you, again, took their father away from them in their home where they lived. The place that's supposed to be your sanctuary, right?
Can I answer now? I'm trying to answer. If you keep going and going. I do
Objection,
care.
move to strike. Non-responsive.
Stricken.
Answer the question.
Ask again. Ask again one more time.
You cared so much about them.
Now. Oh my God. Please let there be cameras in that room. Please. Please, please, please. She is so entertaining. I'm sorry. Oh, she is so entertaining. Do you understand? This is like a TV show. This is like a TV show. You're all out of order. The whole court is out of order. Like, you know what I mean? She's like a female Al Pacino. Come on now. Come on now. Please, please let there be cameras. Please, please, for the love of Jesus. Please let there be cameras in that room. Please let there be cameras in that room. Okay? This is going to be phenomenal. She going to destroy his ass. And if he takes the stand, this is what's going to be like. Do you understand? You see how she's already ruffling his feathers? This dude, Robert, whatever the hell his name is, Barker? Baker? Okay? Already pissing him off. I mean, she gonna make a meal out of that dude. She gonna make a meal out of D4vd. Okay? Beautiful Messy Ball just said, I don't see any world where he takes the stand. Okay, but that's what they said also about Alec Murdaugh. And what happened? Maggie, Paw, snot bubbles. And he took the stand, right? They were like, nah, there's no way he would. But his egotistical ass did, right? So you never know. D4vd might do the same thing. He might. I don't care. Like, he might do that. He might go up there and be like, it's Itami. It was my other alter ego, Itami. You know what I'm saying? He gonna do something stupid. Wait for it. But like I said, I didn't expect Alec Murdaugh to take the stand, and he did, you know? So we'll see. We'll see. We are living in a weird time nowadays, guys. A very weird time.
That you destroyed their feeling of safety in their own home.
Well, I don't know how they felt, but I did care about them.
Didn't you tell your friends, like we saw in messages last week, that...
Hold on real quick. JLK, what's up, man? What's up? Thank you so much for the love. Could you imagine David's friends testifying and having to keep their story straight versus Beth? I mean, Beth up there curling like Stuart Little in the corner, curling up like Stuart Little in the corner. Yeah, you know what? I would love to see what they're going to be saying, what his friends are going to say. Yeah, if they all are saying the same story, if they're staying with and sticking with the same story, I would love, absolutely love. I cannot wait. That's why I'm saying, like, cameras in this room, in this trial, they have got to have cameras in that room. You realize how high profile and how big this whole trial is going to be. We have got to have cameras in that room, and we are all going to be sitting at the edge of our seats the entire damn time. Okay, the entire time. And that's the thing. What would Neo say? What would Asia say? What about the other Celeste? Which we are going to be talking about the other Celeste here in just a second. But you see what I'm saying? There's just his group, his tight-knit group of friends that I'm like, are they all going to say the same thing or not? Right? So let's continue. Let's just seeing a little bit how she questions people.
Once the girls graduated school, the two of you were going to leave the country?
I never saw no text like that.
How about traveling once the girls finished school?
I never saw any text like that either.
You didn't? You didn't see that last week when I showed you Michael Spence and
I didn't see anything
message
about
to Run Ray?
I didn't see anything.
You already forget it from Friday? It's hard to keep lies straight when you tell so many of them, right?
That's an argument.
Sustained.
Are you finding it difficult to keep your stories straight?
You're asking 4 questions at a time. When I try to answer, you cut me off.
Objection, non-responsive, move to strike.
Straight.
Again,
One
are
more
you
time.
finding it hard to keep all of your stories straight?
Sustained.
How many different stories would you venture you've told since your first interview with Monica's lawyers? How many? Give us an estimate.
2?
Okay.
Maybe.
Maybe?
Yeah, maybe 2, without thinking too hard.
One being the letter, right?
1 being the letter.
How long would you say it took you to write that letter? I think it's 7 pages, front and back, handwritten.
A day.
A full day.
A day.
So did you spend a lot of time thinking about what you were going to say in that letter?
I did.
And during the time that you spent that entire day writing this letter, did you think about all of the lies that you were telling Monica's lawyers?
I was thinking about what I'm writing in the letter.
The lies, right?
Whatever I was writing in the letter.
Well, you agreed last week that everything you wrote in the letter was a lie.
Not everything, but
Which part was true?
I gotta look at the letter.
We'll do that.
All right.
Approximately how many lies would you say you told in that letter?
I don't know. I can't. Total. I gotta count.
Give me an estimate.
I'm not giving an estimate because I don't know.
10?
I don't know.
50?
I don't know.
100?
Total. I don't know. I have to see the letter.
200?
I don't know. I have to see the letter.
How about 360?
I don't know. I have to see the letter.
So it kind of gives you an idea about what it would be like if, David took the stand in his own defense. Defense attorneys have a long conversation with their clients before they decide to testify, and they probably study the opposing attorney's style of questioning. So I do have to believe that it's episodes like this that will be analyzed by Blair Burke. But again, it's really up to David if he wants to take the stand. I could do a whole episode on that. Maybe I will. And one more sense of this, one more thing to think about. I want you to listen to her cross-examine Baker about, this was kind of a shocker, Monica's nude photos while there was this sense of grieving.
When Monica left after you murdered Fabio to go to Toronto for the various funeral services, the cremation, the church services, during that time period while she was in Toronto, you were still in communication with her, weren't you?
I believe so.
In fact, during that week, February 3rd through February 6th, isn't it true that she sent you numerous photographs of herself?
I don't know.
So if I were to tell you that she sent you numerous photographs of herself while she was posing naked, showing off her private parts, and that she sent these to you during that week, does that refresh your recollection?
Not really.
But it wouldn't be unusual, right?
Them
So
clashes.
just send pictures?
Yeah.
No.
So you don't think there's a distinction between a time when you're allegedly grieving and time when you're trying to be flirty or sexy or whatever you want to think. You don't think when someone's grieving, the last thing on their mind is sticking their in their while they're
System.
She sent you photographs of her with her
Clappers.
while she was in Toronto?
I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know because I'm not looking at the pictures.
Giggity goo. So while someone has been murdered, her husband, she out there sending him nudes, sending him them clappers. Okay? Yeah. Giggity goo. Oh, dear Lord. Yeah. But again, this guy is tripping. He's falling all over his own lies. He can't stay with the storyline and the lies he's already been saying before. You see what I'm saying? So this is all, man. Is Beth Silverman married? Because I wouldn't want to be her husband. I'm just gonna say real quick. Oh my Lord, I would not want to be her husband. I would never want to be on her bad side. Are you kidding me? Okay, don't you know what I mean? The husband must be like a freaking Boy Scout if she married. You know what I'm saying? He a Boy Scout. He reads the Bible, drinks Perrier, and he knits. He actually knits. Okay? He that good. He's so overly good. Okay? He even wears a sweater wrapped around his neck during the summer. Okay? And plays pickleball. Competitively. You know what I'm saying? Kids, that man has no life. That man ain't gonna have no life. Do you understand? That man has no life. If she married, that husband has no life. Okay? Okay?
I'm not looking at the date, so I can't tell you. I don't have a photographic memory like that.
Okay, so now I want to talk about some other cases. How about the Grim Sleeper trial? Okay, so Beth Silverman, alongside Deputy District Attorney.
Okay, so we get it. She a beast, okay? She a dog. She a mother-loving problem, okay? Oh, my dear Lord. But what's a goon to a goblin? Okay, so she a beast. Okay? She a mother-loving beast. We get it. We see it. Okay? And here's the thing. Jesse Weber is making it like if D4vd is sitting down, watch it, or even Beth Burke, right? Blair Burke or whatever her name is, D4vd's defense team. If they're watching, I'm sure they're watching these videos going, oh, damn. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is the team that we're going to be going up against, going tete-a-tete with. Oh, my dear God, right? And Jesse Weber's basically saying, let me just break it down. Y'all are screwed. That's it. Y'all are in some serious, serious trouble because this man, or this woman, I'm sorry, is a freaking beast when it comes to being a prosecutor, when it comes to this trial. Especially, she is very, very passionate. She clearly is very passionate about these trials, about these cases. She's going to be super passionate about this too. 40 terabytes of all kinds of content, not only just some text messages and some videos here and there. You have CSAM, you have wiretapped audio, etc., of him saying God knows what, right? Which is all very, very bad. And what kind of CSAM? I mean, I don't want to know what kind of CSAM, you know what I'm saying? For damn show, I don't want to know. But he has CSAM, which is not a very good thing either. Now, here's the thing. We got to go back to this video. All right. I know we've seen it like 15 million times, but I do want to bring up a few things. Okay. Because we did talk about this ad nauseum. We are going to continue to talk about this until we actually get more clarity on what's going on. But we got to relive this video one more time. Just really quick. There's a reason why. There's a reason. Because of the girl, Celeste Herrera, the second Celeste. Okay. That second Celeste is in the room behind these two girls. The girl in the red in the video, her name's Asia, and the girl in the white, her name is Sakura. And this is Sakura's live stream. Now, during this live stream, we already saw it as well, where he's sitting there going, "Oh, my bad about the smell in here, dog. You know, I took a dookie. I did number 2 a couple hours ago." And Sakura's like, "So did I, fam." And he's like, "Oh, okay, twin." And they just continue on. But he's obviously making a comment about the smell because guess what? Celeste Rivas is decaying in his front trunk of his Tesla in the garage that is apparently underneath this very bathroom here, which is very, very disturbing, right? This is what everybody has kind of equated that confession, okay, or that revelation. That's what everybody has basically equated to what he was basically talking about. The stench is actually coming from his car, and that stench is a decaying body that is Celeste Rivas. Now, we've seen this video ad nauseum. We have, but I'm just playing it one more time because there's more information. There's other video being seen out here that we need to take a look at, or at least we have one other clip, okay? Now, remember, there is another Celeste. And what I want to know, and I think a lot of people have been curious about, is could the Celeste number 2 be the one that kind of stepped in to play the role of Celeste Rivas while Celeste Rivas was missing? That's something I've been kind of curious about, but but to me, it just doesn't make sense. But like I said, we got to talk about it. Let me just play this video one more again.
It's kind of giving Harley Quinn.
Okay.
Aw, cute.
I like it. And then, wait, we do this. Where's the body glitter?
We go to the USA now.
Where's the body glitter from Claire's?
Bro, body glitter from Claire's.
Okay, clear glitter or
Okay, chat. I'm gonna show you guys my face makeup.
for garbage. Can we pick one of these bags?
Okay. I am
I think we just do
fully ready. Fully ready.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
So it looks like also something I noticed is that Asia is also looks like she's live streaming as well. So they're both live streaming at the same time on their respective, like, I guess, Twitch accounts or whatever platform that they're actually live streaming on. So, you know, Asia in the red, you know, who's off camera, she's also like, you know, talking to her chatters, I'm assuming, right? People who are watching her stream. I'm wondering if that stream, this very stream of Asia's, is out here. Because maybe we hear a different perspective. Maybe we hear the conversation even clearer. Even more clear. I don't know, right? But I am kind of curious about Asia's live streams. I've been wanting to find her live streams. I haven't looked to find out where they are, but I'm wondering where her streams are because I just want to see a little bit more because apparently this is his girl, like his best friend, Asia, not Sakura, not the one in the white. The one in the red is apparently David's like, that's his girl right there. Like that's the homeboy. All right. So there's been a lot of speculation that maybe Asia, you know, helped delete or maybe get rid of Celeste. So something very interesting. Okay. But nonetheless, we saw the dialogue, right? Yeah, you killed her. Yeah, me and David. And this is what Neo says. This is what is being said to Celeste Herrera in the other room. Now, the question still remains. I'm still kind of curious about this second Celeste, because it's a little strange to me. To me, it's a little strange. Who is this second Celeste? There's been a lot of speculation that maybe she's a stand-in. Maybe she was stepping in and taking over the part of Celeste Rivas so that, people aren't like on his ass and wondering where she went and all that too, right? So something is very strange going on. Something very strange is going on. But let's see this here. So resurfaced clip from D4vd's July 4th, 2025 stream is going viral. And this obviously was in the top of May, this video being shared. In this video, and we've seen this, right? We've already seen this version, but there's a moment where it looks like that it's Celeste Herrera caught on video. So we're going to take a look at that here in a second. But then of course he apologizes for the foul smell and all that. So if I'm correct, this is the video.
No, it's Celeste. No, it's Celeste.
There's Celeste. Hold on. If I'm correct, this is Celeste right here. Celeste Herrera. Let's continue. I think.
Oh.
Hold on. So who are these individuals? That's got to be Celeste Herrera right there. So his stream on July 4th, 2025, he has the other Celeste while Celeste Rivas' body was still somewhere in his home. So there is, allegedly, Celeste Herrera right there. And you heard it, ooh, like that. I don't know. I don't know why why he said, or whoever said, ooh, but maybe he didn't want her caught or she didn't want to be on camera, so on and so forth. But let's listen.
Oh, sorry.
Excuse me.
See that? Ooh, sorry. So she did not want to be on camera. For what reason? For what reason? Also remember, this is also the same day where they're having a conversation about Celeste Rivas, and she says, what does she look like? So on and so forth. I don't know what that means. Could it be that she's asking, what does she look like? Like, how did you leave her? If that makes any sense, what does she look like? How did you, chop her up, dismantle her, so on and so forth? How does she look? So on and so forth, right? Maybe she's asking that, which is a very, very dark thing to ask. But I want to make this abundantly clear. Celeste Rivas and Celeste Herrera have met in the past. That's without question. They have met in the past. This is not a situation where she's asking about Celeste and is like, what does she look like? Like, I've never seen her before. She looks a lot like me. What does she look like? No, because allegedly, anytime Celeste Rivas and Celeste Herrera were in the same room at the same time, Celeste Herrera would go by the nickname Cece. Why would she go by the name of Cece if she had not already crossed paths with the likes of Celeste Rivas in the past? You see what I'm saying? So her sitting there saying, what does she look like? That's not I've never seen her before. What does she look like? That's her asking something else. She's most definitely asking something else. She already knows what this girl looks like. She already knows about Celeste Rivas. You see what I'm saying? So again, like I said, something about this seems a little bit weird, right? That exchange of words that they had. Yeah, you killed her, and he's like, and Neo's like, yeah, me and David. Were they joking? Was David making a really messed up joke? Going, yeah, I killed her, but then in actuality, he really did. You see what I'm saying? I don't know. It just seems very strange. But you know, like the scene in American Psycho where the girl at the club is like, "What do you do for a living?" And he's like, I'm into murders and executions. I hear that's really hard. What do you mean? Well, a lot of my friends who are in mergers and acquisitions, like something like that. Yeah, they say it's very, very hard. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh dang, okay. You didn't really hear what I was really saying. You see what I'm saying? So there is a possibility that he was saying that in jest, but a very, very messed up, morbid joke, when in actuality he really did do it. But Neo jumped on like as improv to joke. Like he's like, yeah, I killed her. And he's like, Neo's like, yeah, right, David. You like me and David did that. Right. You know what I mean? Possible. But it's still very strange. But now you're seeing right there. See if I can pause it again.
Oh.
Celeste Herrera right there. What is really going on here? What is going on? Let's play a little bit more.
Sorry.
Excuse me.
Baby, see? Oh, yeah.
Being exposure?
I apologize in advance for the way my bathroom smelled. I took a shit there like 2 hours ago.
I don't care. I just took a shit.
Another one? Type shit. That's what I'm talking about.
No, it's the last.
You see that? Look at that moment too. Soon as her body gets into the shot, somebody puts it like they're trying to block the camera. Why would they not want her on camera? I don't get it. Look.
No, it's the last.
Right there. Celeste. Oh, Celeste. And then, you know, that's Neo's hand. Putting his hand up. Trying to like, almost like block the camera from what? Is it the liquor? Because they're underage drinking, by the way. Okay. Or is it that Celeste is about to cross camera, cross the lens, and she doesn't want to be on camera? She's not underage, by the way. She's not underage. From my understanding, she's in her 20s. So again, something weird about this, y'all. Something very weird. I'll play it again.
Oh. Sorry.
See? Oop. Sorry. Sorry about what? What is the story about this chick? What is the story about Celeste Herrera? And is there any connection? Is there any connection to her and the murder of Celeste Rivas? Something weird about this, guys, right? Something weird. Something's weird. But here's the thing. I don't know if you know this content creator by the name of Sloan, but Sloan did a video months ago. Let me see. When did he put this out? Yeah, 7 months ago, talking about the possibility of the two Celeste theory. Now, I even did one too. I did one 7 months ago too. I was like, is there a possibility? It was a short. I did a YouTube short about this, but I was like, is it possible that if there's something sinister, something deeper going on with the two Celeste situation? Because it's not every day that you meet a Celeste. No disrespect. I'm not saying anything bad about the name. I just think it's a very unique name, right? You know, you might meet, you know, it's like, imagine like the content creator, the content creator I'm talking about, his name is Sloan, right? Or at least he goes by Sloan. Don't know if that's his government name or not, but imagine if he was born and named Sloan, and then he gets something bad happens to him. And the person who allegedly took that person's life was also talking to another guy by the name of Sloan that looks a lot like Sloan that just passed away. It would be weird, right? That'd be weird. It's like another Pascal that looks close to me. And I disappear. And then this Pascal shows up. starts hanging out with the person that allegedly made me disappear in the first damn place. It'd be weird, right? Seems a little bit odd. Like I said, it's not every day that I meet or know of a Celeste. It's a beautiful name. I will say that. It's a beautiful name, but it's unique. So again, what are the chances? What is this second Celeste all about? So let's take a look at this. Shout out to Sloan. He does make some really great content, by the way. But we're gonna speed this up so we can take a look at this this video here, shall we? And we're gonna do some pieces here, okay?
Elephant in the room, because there are two Celestes involved in David's case, and there's been a lot of confusion on whether we have the right Celeste or not. Believe it or not, there's a lot of people who are currently defending David. Yes, there are David defenders out there saying that we've got it all wrong.
Hold on, time out. Let me remind you, okay, just a heads up. Sloan did this video 7 months ago. So there are some things that may not be as accurate because it's 7 months ago, just so you know, all right? So before you guys go crazy and be like, what are you talking about? People defending D4vd now. Hold on. Back 7 months ago, things were still brewing. So let's just go from there, okay? In fact, we're going to jump ahead a tiny bit. Shout out to Sloan again. Go check him out. He's got some really great content.
Celeste Hernandez, Celeste number 1, who's unfortunately no longer with us. And then we got Celeste Guerra, who is 23 years old, according to this little screenshot. I have a TikTok video I want us to react to where
She's in her 20s, 22 years old. She's in her 20s. So why would she not want to be on camera? Why is it like so like a faux pas for her to be on screen? She's not underage. She's not underage drinking. It wasn't like she was doing anything illegal, like, you know, consuming some sort of illegal substance on camera or anything of that sort. So why is it a big deal that she would be on camera? I'm just curious about that. That could mean nothing. She may be like, I don't want to be on camera. I want nothing to do with your live streaming stuff. I like living my life off the grid and, you know, not in the streaming world. That's possible too. I get that. There are a lot of people that don't want to be on camera, but something weird about this. Something very weird about this. Let's continue.
Break down some of the differences between our two Celestes.
Why are there two Celestes in this mysterious and tangled story? Celeste isn't just one person. She has two faces. The first Celeste is 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. When 14. Her body was found, she had...
By the way, 14. Just so you know, she's 14.
A tattoo on her arm. Through her family's confirmation, the police learned that she had a boyfriend named David. The second Celeste is 23-year-old Celeste Herrera, who frequently interacts with David on social media. Strangely, she not only shares a similar name with the first Celeste, but also bears an uncanny resemblance in appearance and temperament. Why really do so many coincidences exist? One possibility is that he had developed an obsession with the younger Celeste. The photos and tattoos hint at a once sweet relationship, but something terrible happened, and he could never see the younger Celeste again. So he's searching for the next substitute. The older Celeste's appearance seems like fate sending him a stand-in with the same name and similar...
No, I'm not gonna go there. I don't think that our new Celeste, Celeste number 2, was like a replacement for Celeste number 1. I feel like she was more of a way to confuse the identity of the younger Celeste, so people would think that it's just her. Kind of a convenient way for David to live his life, because now we've got two different Celestes to decipher. Now, there are two individuals coming forward who claim they had interactions with both Celeste and older Celeste. It actually turns out that older Celeste went by CC when the two were around. So these two Celestes knew each other. One person said, one thing I can talk about is I'm 100% sure that there are two Celestes because I've met them both and spoken to them both. One thing about that, looking back, is that I find it weird that when they were both in the same room, the older one calls her CC. If one was there and the other wasn't, then she'd call herself Celeste. So interesting that the older one would change her name just for the younger one when they were in group hangouts.
Again, why would she suddenly say, what does she look like? Can you just, like, you know, in that video, when we're wondering if there's some sort of confessional, like some sort of confession that happened, right? What did she look like? How did she look? So on and so forth. That's not her going, ooh, does, you know, I've never seen her before in my life. No, this is her asking about something else. Whatever it is, I don't know. But she for damn sure knew this girl. She knew Celeste Rivas. without question.
One person claims that at one of these parties where they met the two Celestes, actually a tattoo artist was there and refused to tattoo the younger Celeste because they did not have proof of her age, so she could not sign a consent form. I want to read a little bit from their statement they gave. I believe the last time David contacted my friend was when he played a show in San Diego August 5th. Also, I'm hearing that the older Celeste is claiming that she never knew or met Celeste, and that's a damn lie because this is Celeste in the back, and that is her looking annoyed and miserable as usual. So people are calling Celeste, the older Celeste, on her BS, and I wonder why would she want to lie about meeting this dead minor unless she had some information that she knows could get her in trouble. During group streams, David would pull the younger Celeste aside, telling her to watch the stream from a separate room away from others. This behavior drew attention, especially at the tattoo party, because the female artist, referred to as Jay, refused to tattoo the younger Celeste due to her suspected minor status. The artist insisted on proper identification despite David's insistence that Celeste was 19. I mean, I know why he wanted her out of the room when they were streaming, because he kind of knew that this was going to happen in the future. He didn't want to be linked up with her. And I don't think that the older Celeste wants to be in cahoots with David either. She recently unfollowed David on social media. One person suspects that he got the first one pregnant, and if people discovered it, that would have ruined his career. So he unalived her. Well,
and that's interesting that that's some information that was coming out 7 months ago, and now some of these things are now coming back in full circle, right? Now we're starting to realize, oh damn, she could have very well have been with child. Ain't that some wild stuff, right? Ain't that some scary stuff? And the fact that these rumors have been percolating out here in these streets for so long, and they were going on for a long time before this girl ever ended up missing. Just so you know, this information was already, the streets been known about their illegal relationship. They've been known about the possibility of her being with child. They've been known before she even disappeared. Insane.
Apparently there's a new third Celeste. What the hell? Which is who he made the song about. The first and second Celeste are people he did hang out with, which is kind of sketchy. I mean, does he have an obsession with the name Celeste? We're going to hear answers soon, because I'm sure this week he's either going to be in for questioning or behind bars. I mean, the kid isn't working. He's been dropped from everything, festivals, his own tour, his record label. So he's got nothing else out in the music industry. He was supposed to come out with a new album last week titled Marcescence, which is actually a word to describe when a tree dies and it holds on to its leaves. Or the leaves will die, but the tree will still hold on to it, which is the idea of holding on to dead parts.
Say word? Word? What is up with this guy? What's popping? Seriously, what's up with this man? What's up with this man? Real talk, man. Why is everything? Okay.
Which is kind of morbid, thinking about him holding on to dead parts inside his vehicle, and that his next album, Marcescence, was kind of the technical word for this. Now, there are other people who are accusing David of knowing Celeste for a long time, since she was 10 or 11. One person wrote, I'm watching the live right now, but I just want to say that me and my friend are trying to recall everything. We were all in a Fortnite team called Chronic, which is where I met him. He met her in 2021 through Fortnite, I'm pretty sure, and then he made her get a Discord. Everyone in the team knew about her, and he would joke about it and brush it off every time that it was mentioned. That's all I personally know, but my friend Pistol knows more because they talked way more. So I guess Pistol would talk to Celeste, and she claims that she would say that David would harm her, R-word her, but then would follow it up with a joke, so she wasn't sure if she was being serious or not. Well, David is about 5 years older than Celeste is, and if she was 10 in 2021, that is pretty creepy that a 15-year-old was looking into a 10-year-old. Now, I'm going to put this video on the screen because David's been called out by people in the past. In 2024, he was called out for messing with a 13-year-old girl on TikTok. And if you guys look at this video, you can see the comment is still there. So there have been warning signs out here since 2024. People
see what I'm saying? But we already knew this. We already knew about this, and this is the reason why I get so angry and get so, frustrated, because there was enough being said out here, and things were happening in plain sight, and no one did anything, right? They just let this girl go through this journey that ended up causing her demise. Everybody and their mama knew all about this stuff, and still, nonetheless, no one did anything. No one did anything except for a few TikTokers that were like, hey, well, I know about this girl that he's dating that he shouldn't be dating at all. You feel me? Like that's some really jacked up and sad stuff. But lo and behold, no one did anything. And now we're looking at a trial, right?
Have been, like a niche group of people have been aware of his relationship with this minor. Looking at more proof, here is an instance where David and Celeste are linked up again through Spotify. People were looking at the data and could tell that they did collaborative playlists together. This is something that a lot of people in relationships will do or friends will do. Now, Celeste was on social media, but it's pretty hard to tell which was her accounts and to try to find a paper trail. But it looks like her sister actually was able to get into her Instagram. She revealed that they did not know where Celeste was and did not know David personally. They only ever had heard of this man. She said Celeste was only 15 years old. She should still be here with us. She trusted someone who didn't protect her, and now she's gone. She said that police told us not to share any evidence since it's still being finalized. So it looks like police are going through Celeste's social medias as well and building up all of this evidence, which I think takes a lot more time than like physical evidence does. You know what I mean? Like they have to go online and get all these things straight, opposed to being at a crime scene where you take a sample and you test it. Recently, there was a memorial held in Celeste's hometown for her, and God bless all those people there supporting her and trying to fight for justice. At this point, if David is not arrested, then like what is the justice system? Like,
yeah, I mean, well, he's obviously has been arrested, obviously. And, you know, like I said, this video's 7 months old. But nonetheless, I mean, you got another Celeste. Is there something going on here? Could she be there as a stand-in for this situation? Or was he bringing her in unbeknownst to her, for example? Could it be that she was getting dragged in unbeknownst to her without her knowledge solely so that he could keep up with appearances? Because remember, the internet and the followers already been known about Celeste Rivas. They already knew about her. And you know, she was showing up in live streams and showing up in content. And sure, she would have her face covered and stuff like that. But clearly she was in his life. And he would say, I have this, my boo thing, my girl, I'm caked up, blah, 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 right? Saying all these different things about his relationship with the likes of Celeste Rivas. But then suddenly out of nowhere, she just disappears, right? April 23rd, she goes over to his house. He takes her life. And then from that point on, she is nowhere to be found. You know for a fact the internet's going to start asking questions. Yo, where's your girl at? Whatever happened to blah, blah, blah? Hey, you know, eventually they may not ask the very next day, but eventually they're going to start asking questions on where's Celeste? Yo, where's your girl at? Whatever happened to her? You guys break up? Blah, blah, blah. People are going to start asking questions. You also got to remember, too, all the people that were literally saying on Discord and on his social media is basically saying, yo, you are talking and dating a 13-year-old, 14-year-old girl. This is very jacked up. You don't think those people who are savvy to that information aren't going to start asking questions about her whereabouts as well? So think about that. What are the chances of Celeste Herrera being brought in? And again, unbeknownst or beknownst by her, if that's a word, is that a word? Unbeknownst or beknownst by her that she's coming in as a stand-in to throw people off, to get those people off that beaten path of him or of what he actually did to Celeste Rivas. Think about that. He brings her in a little bit more. She's hanging out. She's showing up in these live streams. People don't think about it much because they're going, oh, her name's Celeste. And oh, that's the other girl named Celeste too. And ooh, you know, they look a lot alike. They you know, okay, that's her. You know, maybe she just got older. You see what I'm saying? Oh, she got a little bit older. Cool. She aged. Cool. You see what I'm saying? So what are the chances? Here's the other thing too. Someone just said in the chat, okay, it's the Allah, okay? Just said, sounds premeditated to me. What if it was? Let me explain. What if there's a situation where he had always had planned to take her out? And then finally, one day he said, F it, I got to do it now. Because she was already saying, I'm going to unearth all the nasty things you've done to me and maybe other people. I'm going to expose you for the monster that you are. Remember, I said this in the past. What are the chances of him actually, or her actually saying, I'm going to expose you multiple times in the past? Multiple times. You don't think, like, okay, I'm sorry, okay? May she rest in peace, but let's keep it a bean, y'all. Let's just keep it a bean real quick. Do you remember that Ring camera video where she's snapping, literally snapping on neighbors because the neighbors' kids were doing ding dong ditch on the house that she was at, on her parents' house? And so she snaps so hard, she's going off on the parents of the kids in the neighborhood. She's no holds barred. Okay? She has 0 Fs. 0 Fs were given. No respect to the parents of that house. No, you see what I'm saying? No acknowledgement of bringing respect to the table and just basically saying, sir, could you just have your kids stop ding dong ditching at my house? That's literally all she needed to do. But she was snapping on the parents. And then the father, who wasn't any better either, was snapping back at her. And they were literally having a full-on fight, verbal argument, right? In front of everybody in front of the neighborhood, right? In front of this apartment complex, right? So, with that being said, yeah, she's a bit aggressive. She may be a little hard to handle, right? She a rebel. We all know that now. The multitude of times that she's ran away and all that. So we know that she is somebody who is tough as nails, and is not one to be stepped all over if she gets pushed far enough. So hear me out. You think that they've only had one argument, and that one argument was the day before she lost her life, where she literally said out loud, I'm going to expose you for the monster that you are? No, I think she was absolutely a smart woman, a smart young girl, and was someone who was taking no BS from nobody. I think that she was growing up. She grew up too fast. And she's a teen with a smart mouth. What are the odds, right? So what are the odds of them having arguments, fights, etc., where she said, you know what? F you, I'm about to expose you for who you are, bro. F you, homie. F you. And she said that multitude of times before. Maybe not in text message, but just verbally to him on the phone or in person. There is a possibility of that, which would spark off the idea of, oh, damn, if she does that, my whole career will be over. I need to think of what I got to do here. So he starts plotting. Now, again, this is speculation. There very well could have been a situation where she never said that to him ever until that unfortunate day on the 22nd, the day before she lost her life, allegedly lost her life, where she said, I'm going to make your life a living hell and I'm going to expose you for who you are. That's still a possibility. But what if she said these things in the past? Like I said, she's a no BS type of girl. We already saw that in the videos. She don't care if you're a grown man or a little kid. She gonna put you in your place and she gonna give you her 2 cents real fast. So what are the chances of her being crossed by him another time before in the past, and she laid it out on the line and said, I will expose you for who you are, which obviously sparked the conversation or the thoughts in his own brain, which is, of course, man, I might have to erase this woman or erase this little girl. And then, of course, in comes Celeste Herrera. She looks a lot like her. Okay, she could step in. Cool. We do that. You know, we'll do that. Yeah. She don't need to know that she coming in and playing the part. She don't need to know. So let's just slide her in real quick. It's all good. She got the same name. She tan like her. She got the same skin tone. You feel me? Let's just do that. Maybe. Or it could literally be she, on the 22nd, said it for the very first time. I'm going to expose you. I'm going to destroy your career. I'm going to destroy you. And then the very next day he said, come on over. We could talk. Let's just talk. Let's just be friends. Let's talk. And she goes over there and she loses her life. It could very well be that. I don't know which is which. Obviously, this is all speculation. It's all speculation, right? I get concerned, I get concerned because there are so many holes in this case that we may not get the full answer to. One thing is for sure, though. I'm very curious about Asia. I am extremely curious about Asia, his friend. What's the story with that? Why was she just so cool about everything? She was his best friend, one of his best friends. The same thing with Neo. Like, as much as I'm side-eyeing Asia, I'm side-eyeing the hell out of Neo. But again, they could be absolutely innocent. Both of them. They could have nothing to do with this. It could be his manager that did this stuff with him. We don't know. But one thing is for sure. They were his those were his team. That was his crew. Those were his ride or dies. So what's the real story behind that? Right? So we are going to be deep diving into the Asia stuff. We're going to be, what I'm planning on doing is doing two separate shows. One specifically on Neon. I know I call him Neon, but Neo. Okay. We're going to be looking at Neo, and we definitely going to be looking at Asia. And I don't know which one's going to be first, but we definitely going to be deep diving into those for sure. And of course, talking about the multitude of other things that we need to talk about. If the Ebola virus spreads even worse, we going to talk about it. Okay. Yeah. But unfortunately, I have got to wrap the show up. So trust me, we're going to have to postpone the Nancy Guthrie conversation. We will have a conversation about Nancy Guthrie here very soon. I apologize, but like I said, there's a lot to talk about and very little time to do it. I also will say this too. Okay, there's a little bit of a left turn, but if you watch the Ronda Rousey Gina Carano fight, you didn't miss much. That fight was trash. Just so you know. I don't know about you, but I'm mad. Okay? I'm mad. Because that fight was dumb. Dumb. You want to know something? Okay. I don't know if you know about Gina Carano. Okay? But Gina Carano apparently lost 100 pounds, well over 100 pounds in the past year and a half, training for this fight that lasted 17 seconds. A year and a half, dropping a whole person off of her body to go into that octagon and fight. Not even really fight. She got submitted in 17 seconds. Now, Ronda Rousey, let's keep it real. She's known for that. She's known to be doing that. Getting people into submission or knocking them out within the first round. But this was a year and a half of work, 2 years of getting prepared for this fight. Gina Carano, who hadn't been in the octagon in 17 years. And as soon as she gets in there, she's walking out. What a waste of time. I'm just saying. JLK, thank you so much for the love. Thank you, Pascal. Always enjoy the shows. Have a wonderful Sunday, dog. Hey, JLK, thank you so much. I appreciate you too. Okay. But that fight was absolutely trash. 17 seconds of nothing. They said, let's get it on. And then all of a sudden, ding, ding, ding. She submitted. That was it. I'm like, are you serious? The arm bar and that's it? An arm bar. That's it. No, I can't play it because of copyright stuff. Like even if you play the footage, all right, they'll flag you. So if you want to see some of the footage, okay, some of it, I found a way to finesse it. I did a skit about it. Okay, it's pinned to the bottom of the chat. Go check it out. Have a laugh. and share it with your friends. Love, share it with your friends. But it is choreographed crap. It was I was like, and I'm not kidding. I'm literally watching it, and I'm like, dang. You know how many people who are watching this fight? I'm like, yo, and these are two women fighting. And everybody and their mama are stuck to their TVs, getting ready to watch this fight. Man, this is incredible. And in my mind, I'm like, man, we have come a long way for women fighters and women sports. Women sports, females in sports and all that. I'm like, damn, this is dope. I can't wait for this fight. Ding ding. All right, we can go to bed now. Like it was like, what? It was dumb. Okay? It was dumb. Yeah. Hog water in 17 seconds. And yeah, Netflix making crazy, crazy money. 17 seconds, guys. So again, like I said, go check out the skit, share it with a friend who you think will be able to relate, who can relate to the reaction. But yeah, the fight it felt rigged. It really did. You know that Ronda Rousey actually walked out with like over $2 million for that fight, for winning. And I think Gina Carano walked out with like a little over $1 million for that fight. Real talk. So if you really think about it, they didn't really have to fight at all. One of them just had to submit, which is exactly what they did. And then they were walking away with bags, guys. Bags. Easter, you lost $20. You put money on freaking Gina Carano for real? Nah, son. Nah. I was like, nah. I was like, Ronda Rousey gonna kick her ass. Ronda Rousey gonna put some pain on Gina Carano. I was wrong on that part. I knew that Ronda Rousey would win. But I was wrong on putting some pain to her because I thought it was going to be a bloody mess. I really did. I thought it was going to be a mess. And it wasn't. This was it was so disappointing, guys. It was so disappointing. But we all stayed up for it, didn't we? We all stayed up for that BS. Ain't that crazy? Man. But that's MMA for you. You'd be surprised. Some of these fights end that quick, just like that. Just off an arm bar. You know what really pisses me off is that she could have gotten out of that. She really could have gotten out of that. She could have. She could have. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. You lost $20. You put $20 on Gina? Damn, Gina. You put on $20 on Gina? Word? Okay. No, not me. I wouldn't have done that. Nah. No disrespect. Yeah, we all got fugazied. We all got finessed. We all sat there watching a fight that didn't actually happen. And here's the other thing too. Now you got me getting on my soapbox. Let me just say this really quick. Let me just talk my talk. What happened to sports? What happened to, like, not sports, but like what happened to boxing? What happened to MMA fights? Some of these fights get pretty gruesome, but like boxing in general, what happened? They all turned into expedition fights. They're all nice with each other. You see what I'm saying? Like, what happened to the fights where you're like, you're getting to see these guys fight each other until they're hamburger? We don't see that anymore. Now it's just like, okay, you can, we only get, 3 rounds. Each one's 30 seconds long. And you can't hit him on the right side of his face. You can do body shots, but just don't hit him in the nose. Like, it's like, what is this all about? What happened to real fighting? Real fighting doesn't exist anymore. It gone. It dead. Dead and gone, dead and gone. It's gone. So what the F is going on? And that perfect example is this fight right here. Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano. What the hell was that? Not even, she didn't even try. Gina didn't even try. You understand? It got done. Messi just said it got gone when Tyson bit Holyfield's ear off. Yeah, both ears actually. It was both ears. But I guess. You know, they just ain't doing cocaine like they used to. You know what I'm saying? That's all. They just ain't doing all the blow like they used to. If they did, it'd be a different conversation. You feel me? Be a completely different conversation. Things would be wild, but we ain't got that anymore, man. It's all gone. You know, it's like they punch him in the face, like, wait, you okay? Wait, stop the fight. You okay? Yep. Okay, we're good. Game on. Game on. Like it's that now. We don't have that, you know what I mean? We don't have those fights anymore. Ah, man, you know? Now I'm sounding like Unc, you know what I mean? Back in my day, you know, they used to have fights. They used to have real fights. That's what it feels like. But I don't give a damn if I sound like Unc. It's the truth. Bring back fights, like real fights. Come on. Damn, Gina. Damn. Anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It means a lot. Thank you. We'll be back to talk about the Nancy Guthrie stuff and all that when I get some more time. But unfortunately, I got to run, okay? But do me a solid before we get things moving, before we end this show. Hit that like button down below. Crush that subscribe button. Hit that follow button as well. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. Please and thank you, because I'm on all of them. Okay, go check out that skit that I just recently did. Share it if you can. That'll be greatly appreciated. More skits to come. Trust and believe, more skits to come. But share, okay? Follow on all my platforms. Hit that notification bell on this platform and on my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe there as well, so you know whenever I go live or whenever I upload, because it is random. Hit that join button down below, become a member, check out my Patreon, and of course, check out pascalmerch.com. Check it out. We got some really great stuff over there. So pascalmerch.com. Anyway, guys, it is time to get going. Much love to you guys. Stay safe out there and have a great rest of your Sunday. Many, many blessings to you guys. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.